Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. I am Paul Sisler, and this is In the Moment. Well, hello. Today, L.R. Evans and I will be talking about how you write your sex scenes. Hello, Luke. Are you there? Whoop. Hello? Oh, we might be having some connection issues. All right, well, while we're waiting for Luke, some of the immediate research that I've done is I've tried to go through porn, sensuality, erotica, smut, and there are some differences in this. And basically, hello, Cornelia. Basically, what you have, the Supreme Court actually made a decision on some of these differences. And even the Supreme Court justice had stated, it's not porn, but I know porn when I see it. And this, if you go to allpoetry.com, they have an article on it. And erotica, sensuality, smut, or is it all porn? And basically, I would define porn as the explicit depiction of a sexual act devoid of little, if any, emotional feelings. Whether it is used for stimulation or to express a statement of feeling, it becomes banal quickly because we have all seen it and know what it is. There is a feeling of not seeing anything new. It is not that sex is bad or sinful that makes it porn. It is the lack of artistry and sensation, and the fact that it too quickly can be summed up by Shakespeare's line as the beast with two backs. So today, L.R. Evans and I, if Luke ever can get back in here, we're going to go over on how to write erotica, sex scenes, the differences. What are you looking for in your writing? What are you trying to do in your writing? And we will examine that. Luke, hello. Are you there? Okay, Luke. All right. I have a book that I'm writing. It's called Rainbow Prophecy, the Rainbow Prophecy, book 1, Blood Schism. And initially, it was to start out as an erotica, and I just can't do it. But my main character is a sex worker, and I start out with, when I first started to write it, I was very explicit on how I was writing things, the language that I was using. So what I've done is I kind of toned it back. And I think that plays a huge part in how to write a sex scene, which when Luke gets in here, Luke is going to be able to explain this much better than I. Hello, Luke. Let me see if I can get Luke here. All righty. I don't know if we're having a internet issue or if Luke just hasn't set up. Luke was here and then Luke disappeared. So, anyways, sex scenes, it's a hard thing for me to describe. We have Cornelia in the comments. A lot of the language that goes with writing a sex scene, the more hardcore it is, obviously, the more vulgar you're going to get with your language and your descriptions. And then the more sensual, you don't need such derogatory words. It's more about touch, more about sensation, more about feeling. At least that's the way I see it. Luke. There you go.
There we go. All right. Sorry about that. I couldn't figure out how to get this to work while I was driving. So I was trying to tell you that before you started the show. I was like, hey, I'm not going to be able to come on like right away because like I'm driving. But then you immediately started the show and I didn't have time. So I was like, all right.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem.
You're breaking up too.
Okay. We got a lot of high winds here, and we got like a storm front coming in. So my internet could go a little hokey. So
Gotcha.
all right. But anyways, I kind of broke down a little bit erotica, smut, porn, sensuality a little bit. The differences in between them, where basically porn is something that lacks any kind of feeling or anything like that, or artistry. Erotica is more of and I didn't get into this as much, but erotica, you have basically sex scene after sex scene after sex scene, and it can be a little harsh, but not as harsh as what writing porn would be. And then smut is just nasty. And then sensuality is going to be less descriptive and more romantic. There we go. That's about all the further I got.
Okay. I'm not here to really I'm glad that you mentioned all that because I wasn't going to talk about that at all. Anything to do with the differences between erotic in your story.
Is that me breaking up or you breaking up?
What I mean by that is I'm breaking up.
One of us is. It's either you or I. Yeah. Yep. All right. You're. I can see. Oh, I lost you. Okay. Let's wait for Luke to come back in. Okay. While we're waiting for Luke to come back in, we have Cornelia. I think it has more to do with the language used in writing erotica. Absolutely. The language is very, very important. And again, it's how you're using what words you're using and how you present them and what form you present them. I know Luke wants to go more into how to write the sex scene versus me just open up the show to bring up kind of a difference between erotica and porn / smut and sensuality. I have this is a hard topic for me to talk about. So yes, Cornelia, damn it, laugh out loud. Yes. So let's see here. Oops. So language is a very important key in what you're writing. What I've done in Blood Schism is where I was very, very descriptive, and I would use words like cock and dick and pussy. I have cut those words out, and I'm finding alternative words like manhood, manliness, standing at attention, things like this. So I kind of use not as the language isn't as explicit. So that way it's not as what I would call hardcore. And my scenes are going to where I would actually have engagement in my scenes. What I've done is I've toned them back to where it's more you get the idea that that's what they're doing without actually going into the details of it. So if we can get Luke back here, Luke can save me. Cornelia, how you doing? You still with me, Cornelia? There we go.
Hi there.
Hello. Oh, I'm failing miserably here. I'm failing miserably.
Oh, don't worry about it. I do that on a daily basis. I don't know what was talked about because I wasn't here. It's okay. You know what? Mama said there'd be days like this. Oh shit! I just spilled coffee all over the place. Fuck. Well, no, it's okay. This is in the moment. I'm gonna do whatever I want. So fuck me.
All right.
I'm like, I'm not allowed to cuss. I should be child friendly. Never mind. I remember who these fuckers are.
Cornelia said you're breaking up, and check your goddamn phone.
Listen. I'm tired of my ass breaking up on here. I don't know what to do to fix it. I have bars. Am I still breaking up?
Now you're not, but I can't see you.
Well, now I'm outside getting a cigarette because this shit's stressing me out. Okay, so we're talking about sex scenes. So we're talking about what I wanted to talk about specifically about sex scenes was how to include them in a way that they do something more.
Okay, that they do something what?
Oh, fuck. Are you serious? Okay.
Yes.
Maybe we should just do this show another time. Like, if it's going to be like this bad connection for both of us. What I was trying to say is, I'm not going to, basically doing something with the sex scenes to bring something more to the table for your story than just giving your readers a boner. That's what I said.
Right.
All right, cool. So anyway, there's a lot of different ways that you can do that. You've all heard that every scene in your story should serve a purpose, that it should do something to move the story forward, right? Well, the same thing goes for your sex scenes. I would wager even more if it's not an erotica or it's not that kind of, or a romance book. So if it's like a fantasy or something like that and you have a sex scene in there, you're going to need to make extra super sure that there's a damn good reason that it's in there, because that's not what is typical for the genre. In the RimWorld trilogy, in the first book, Lucid, I have a sex scene in there, but it centers in for character development and a character arc for Julian Desmond, the main character. His sexual awakening is actually what, that's what that sex scene is about. It's the sex scene that zeroes in on the first time that he realizes, oh shit, I'm gay, and his first romance and what that means for someone like him in 18th century London. So doing something. Wow, that drive-through is busy as fuck today. It's fine. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about giving your story a little bit of extra oomph with the sex scene. Where do you think in your book that you've done that with yours?
Well, that's kind of what I was breaking down and all that, and you kind of ironed out a lot of what I was trying to say. So thank you.
Yeah.
When I initially started to write Blood Schism and all that, it was going to be an erotica, remember? And yeah. And I can do that because when you're writing erotica, you go from basically sex scene to sex scene. So I tried to make mine more of a part of what was happening. My main character is a sex worker. So my initial opening was a sex scene that I basically eliminated and insinuated that they just had sex.
All right.
So I changed it up a little bit so that, yeah, in the beginning you get a little nudity, you get a little talk, but you also are you're not getting into the nitty gritty. You're not getting into the erotica or what would be considered porn. And then it kind of highlights the kind of life that she's leading, and then what happens after that goes again into the story. So I have kind of reduced down what I have done and taken away a lot of the explicitness and went more with insinuation of what's going on. You know,
I really admire people who can write erotica. We all know that erotica author that we're all friends with on Twitter, Gora. Hey, Gora Shade. But I see your comment, Cornelia, and I'm ADHD. Damn it, the fuck, Paul, why'd you do that? But yes, I got your text. I actually woke up 20 minutes before the show on top of everything else. So I've had a great Tuesday takes. I will read your text and reply to you, Cornelia. I am so excited to see you in April. It's going to be so fun. I want to hear you read from your works, your many works at Chapters and Pages Book Nook. It's going to be super exciting. I feel good about it. It's great. I might also have another author coming at the end of April, so that's cool, or maybe beginning of May. So I'm already getting a lot of authors piled up for the Chapters and Pages Book Nook, which makes me really happy. But back to the topic at hand, if I could remember it, because my brain fucking sucks. Erotica, yes, Gora Shade. Okay, so yeah, I have the utmost respect for people who can write erotica, because like you said, it is kind of just going from sex scene to sex scene. That's what erotica readers expect, is maybe not every scene, but a good deal. Like 90% of the book is sex. That's what
Right.
erotica is. That's the whole genre. And for me, it's difficult for me to imagine having to write a sex scene for every scene, or even 90% of the scenes in my book, and still keep a plot. And erotica, you have to keep the plot. I think that's the difference between erotica and pornography / smut. Pornography and smut, it doesn't really have to have a plot, really. It can, but that's not why you're reading it. You're reading it for the imagery and to immerse yourself in a sexual situation.
Right.
The intent to elicit a reaction in yourself. That's what pornography and smut is all about. But erotica is kind of different. Like, you're still getting those sensations and things like that, but it's a little bit more sensual. Not always, but it's got more of a plot to it. You know, it's got more substance behind it. And I think they're both art forms. Pornography.
Yes.
And erotica, they're both art forms. It takes a very special person to be able to write that. It's a skill like any other skill. I don't have it in me to pigeonhole I don't want to say pigeonhole, but to limit myself to that formula. I can't do that. That's why I like to write fantasy, and why everybody, like, my editor calls my shit speculative fiction, because like it bounces a lot. It touches on a lot of different genres. But we're supposed to be talking about sex, so there's going to be different dynamics in sex to show character development. Do you think that's possible to write it that way?
Absolutely.
Be different dynamics in sex to show character development. Do you think that's
Absolutely.
Did you say gonna be, or did you mean gotta be? No.
I think it's gonna be different dynamics in sex to show character development. Do you think that's possible to write it that way? Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Shouldn't be a problem.
Well, take like True Blood and then Game of Thrones. You know, they both had sex scenes, you know, and nudity and stuff like that to illustrate certain points, you know. So
sex also moved the plot forward in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Like, has sex with this person, all of a sudden it causes a war. Someone has sex with this person, and that means that they're like the new mate of the alpha wolf or whatever. I don't know. I don't read those, but you know, well, like it could be.
You can take a lot of the stories and all that go to like Achilles and Paris and, you know, Helen, where Paris is just enthralled by Helen, and depending upon which version you watch, there's either sex or there's not sex, but there's always the insinuation that it's there regardless of whether they have sex or not. You know, there's always that romance that you can tell is there.
Right. And see, that's another thing I wanted to talk about is when to write explicit sex scenes, when that's important, and when to write. Seriously, I want to be your friend on Facebook too. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. My muffler's at home, so I get it. When it's important to like do fade to black, and when it's more important to add detail or be more explicit in your sex scenes, because you don't always have to be explicit. It doesn't always serve your story. If you're writing young adult, for example, you don't want to be explicit. If you're writing a ooey gooey romance, new adult, or even an adult one that's like, you know, it's not really about the sex, it's more about the something softer. I don't know. I can't really think of an example here because I'm a huge hoe when it comes to writing, and there's always sex scenes. But
Right.
But you can always do fade to black, you know, like they go into the room, they're kissing, they're touching, there's the expectation that something's going to happen. Cut scene, begin new scene. We know what happened, but we're not going to touch on that.
Right.
But when it's important to add the details to the sex scene, for me, it was important to include the Charles and Julian scene in Lucid for Julian's sexual awakening, because I wanted to show the progression of Julian, like starting to understand and kind of hint to the reader, like, oh shit, I'm into that. I can't be into that. They're going to hang my ass, you know?
Right.
So that's why I like zoomed in on the sex scene in Lucid and showed like the sensations and how Julian was feeling and what was happening on the other side of the room and all of that good stuff, because you understand along with Julian that, oh shit, I'm gay. So that's just one example of when details are important. And I don't know anything like, maybe for yours, a good fade to black might be the scene, the one scene.
Yes. And that's what I've kind of done. The rape scene, where instead of going into the details of the rape, I'm actually, as it's beginning, it's like a fade to black. I go then to Donovan.
Okay.
And then basically once it's over, and then we go into another aspect of it where people think something's going to happen and it doesn't. Then I go back to fade to black and go back to Donovan. So I've kind of taken all of it out where I did have detail before. The person I'm working with has basically said, no, you can't go that route. Not with this. If you're going to go with the genre you're going to go with. So I've had to redo all of that. And also, there's a way that men perceive things and there's a way that women perceive things. And I recommend that if you're a man and you're going to write a scene that involves any kind of sexuality, nudity, erotica in any way, shape, or form, and you're just getting into it, contact a woman and ask the woman to read it and see how she feels about it. And when she's giving you critique and criticism, listen to what she has to say, because us men view the world in a different way than what women view the world when it comes to sex and sexuality. So men kind of think that women like everything when that's not the case. So I'm trying to, I know I'm walking a fine line.
You are. Stop.
But
You.
men need to talk to women to make sure what they're trying to get across is coming across in a most respectful, decent, proper manner.
Yes. I love you, Paul. I think you did fine. You did fine. I understood what you were trying to say. I just didn't want you to get in trouble with our millions of viewers.
Hey, one day it will be millions of viewers. One day.
One day. I'm just going to keep acting like we have 1 million viewers and go with it, and then it'll, like, manifest. Which vibes?
Yes. Yes.
But come to think of it, I actually use Fade to Black and Lucid a couple of times for those explicit reasons. Anytime that any kind of essay comes up, it's not important, the details that happen. If at any point in your story you are being gratuitous with violence, or essay or something like that, that's probably a point where you should put in some Fade to Black. I do have one scene in Lucid where a character is being essayed, or attempted essayed, and I do describe it right up until like almost the point, but I describe it in a way to where it's not. It's more about how the character is feeling in that moment, the hopelessness.
Yes.
I describe that. You can describe the emotions and things like that, sensations, though you should probably keep to a bare minimum when it comes to that kind of thing. But that was probably like the most detail that I've ever included in an essay scene, but it wasn't gratuitous. I was careful about that because I was aware that being gratuitous with violence and essay and things like that can be very triggering for other people, and it's still triggering even when you are light-handed with it.
Right.
Also, who wants to read that? Like the
Right. Yes. And just to clarify for people, when Luke is saying essayed, she's not saying ESSAY essayed. She's saying the letter S, the letter A, which stands for sexual assault.
Yes.
And in my book, I start out with an assault scene that it's sexual, but it's not sexual because it's not about the sex in the scene. It's about control.
Yeah, that one.
And right.
Yep.
So I go into the detail about the control and how a person would feel and go through the panic and the emotions. And then again, I bring it right up to the line. There's a line. I don't know how to say it. There's a line that you don't cross. And I bring it right to that line. Same thing when I go into the other scene that's very just brutal. I bring it to that line where initially I crossed that line and I was informed that I had crossed that line. And again, this is why you have somebody else read your work, because now my work is brought back to where I'm right up to it, but I'm not going over it,
Right.
and it is a line.
It's important to include some details whenever you are expressing those sorts of scenes, because it helps to ground the reader in the emotions of the character. The thing you have to remember, though, is the thing that I try to remember. We'll put it this way. The thing that I try to remember is how deeply do I want them to be in the character's shoes during this moment? Do I want to make them feel this horrible way that, like, I and other people have felt whenever something bad has happened to them like that? No. I can give them a little bit, and I can give them a little bit of like emotions and sensations where they can like put the pieces together in their head, and then I can move on. I can move on to something else, because there's other opportunities and there's other ways to make your readers feel something when they're reading characters. You can do like a nice, like, the sex scenes are the ones that you like really want to delve into. Like, you can do the sweet ones and the sexy scenes, like the more erotic ones, those are the ones that I feel like if you had to like become gratuitous with detail on anything, those would be the ones if you're writing adult novels. And
Yes.
when I say adult, I just mean I don't mean like erotica or anything. I mean just adult novels. I write adult fantasy, and I decided to write some sex scenes in there. And you can be Another thing that I wanted to also say while I was on this topic on this show, please stop. I wanted to say euphemisms for like genitalia.
Yes.
You can avoid completely that shit. Honestly, me personally, I hate it. I hate it. It's better to describe motion, sensation, fullness, like you can like be like fullness or soft touch or tingling. You can describe it in so many different ways. And the motion of it, like rocking, thrusting, that kind of thing. You can describe it like that, and it's going to have so much more impact than it is if you go like his giant cock, or her quivering pussy, like that. That
Right.
more erotic and more crass than what you would want to find in a non-erotic novel. So if it's not an erotica novel, I would probably go with something a little less genitalia oriented. You don't need to use a bunch of euphemisms for that. You don't need to explicitly point out the genitalia. It's going to be more about the sensations, the feelings, and the motion. Sensation, feelings, like emotions, and motions, like actual physical motion.
Action. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. See, this is part of the reason why at the beginning I was differentiating between porn, erotica, and sensuality, because with porn, you can use any language you want and you can get as dirty and nasty as you want. Erotica is going to be a little more tasteful, and you still might hear cock or dick or pussy in that, but not in a manner that is going to be smutty, because there's going to be a reason for it. And then when you're looking at like what we're trying to write in our books, this is where, like you said, emotion, motion, and the euphemisms that you're going to use to in relation to genitalia, if you even need to describe genitalia at all, that's where it comes down to for writing something that is tasteful and classy and getting the point out there on what you want to get out there. Because before you even write a sex scene, you need to ask yourself, am I putting this in for myself because I want my characters to get it on? Or is this essential to the plot?
And see, that's another thing I really like to do. Like, if I really want two characters to bang, but it doesn't make sense in the story, or it's going to change the trajectory of the story, or it's just not necessary to like move the plot forward or for the character development or something like that, and it can be skipped. I don't like to just put that in there. I will open up a brand new document. I will make the characters fuck on my own document on the side and be like, all right, it's out of my system now, moving on. And I will go back to my but yeah, motion, emotion, and sensation are the key ones that you want to focus on whenever you're writing anything that is not romance or erotica, in my opinion. So if you're writing an adult fantasy or an adult science fiction or something like that, the motion, emotion, and sensation. I'm not saying that you can't say dick or pussy or cock or whatever, like people talk like that. They talk dirty whenever like they're in the throes of it. Sometimes it depends on your characters. So if you need to add something like that in there, go for it. Like, you can use those words. I just say use them sparingly would be my opinion.
Right. Exactly. And that's kind of where I'm at, because like I said, I started out, I was trying to write an erotica because I thought it would be easy. It's like, yeah, no, anybody can write this. No, it's not easy. It is not easy.
Gore look easy.
Now, if you remember when we did that fan fiction for Jay,
Dog.
I can write porn, but not erotica. Okay? Because my fan fiction was just that. It was a porn fan fiction for Jay's book. So, but
I think it's easier to write one shots for like sex scenes and stuff like that than it is to write an entire book that is 80% sex. It's really difficult to, because think about it. It's like to move the plot forward, because erotica does have a plot, you have to have plots. So it has to be like going to the coffee shop, and then like, you know, like I have to go to work, and then after going to work I have to go over here, or maybe it's some like fantasy plot or something that's involved here where I have to save the world, but every 10 seconds I also have to stop and have sex, but that sex has to move the fucking plot forward. It's difficult to write an entire
Yes.
with a plot and also make time for this chick or this dude or this this person to have sex every 10 seconds and have that
Yes.
plot board. It's difficult.
Oh, most definitely, because like when I did that fan fiction, that was easy, you know, because I mean it's like a 10-minute, 15-minute little bam, there you go, and here's the build up, here's what happens, and it's done. Now, could I write anything else beyond that? No, you know. And would I ever put that like in a story? No, because I got explicit. I got explicit. I There's no place in any of the stuff that I actually write for something like that, because again, it's a one-off, as you put it. It's a one-off, you know. In my book that I'm actually writing, there's again, this is going to be like a 3-book series, and the first 4 chapters, there's some sexuality in it, and then not until about chapter 7 when you get to the Bondi Maidens, and then after that, I don't think there's probably going to be sex anywhere in there until Donovan and Iris, you know. So there's not going to be a lot of that in my book. It's just part of the character and who she is at the beginning. That is what needs to be expressed. So, and that's another reason why I'm toning it down to where it's not what the whole story is.
Right. Yeah, I think erotica has its very own challenge there. Like I kind of want to try my hand at it at some point just to see if I could. You know, it's kind of like a game in my head right now to
Yeah.
find a way to make the sex scenes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Again,
hang on a minute. Okay, we're good.
Yep.
You're
Well,
breaking
you're
up.
breaking up again.
Oh, so are you. Man, it looks like I'm gonna have to stay outside. Hang on. I gotta stay outside apparently. I'm not allowed to be indoors. This is great. This is wonderful. I love this for me. All right, fine.
Is this at the bookstore?
It's just kind of chill. No, I'm
this at the-
at the real estate office in Chillicothe.
Okay. I was gonna say because at the I just lost you. Oh, there you are. You're back.
There's 2 of me. This is wonderful. Yeah, no, I'm at the real estate office in Chillicothe.
Okay. Well, the bookstore definitely has better Wi-Fi than this real estate office.
I'm not connected to Wi-Fi. I'm using my phone because I don't trust the Wi-Fi. So,
yeah. Okay.
Damn. Okay. Well, okay. So, let's see. What are some other really good examples of sex scenes that have moved the stories forward in some other media other than ours?
Well, when you go to Game of Thrones, when Khaleesi, her marriage, I think that played like an important part of how the men treated the women, you know, and how, you know, you can interpret a whole culture based upon a sex scene. And that's basically what it did in Game of Thrones. In True Blood, it was more of a love type thing, you know. So there's a lot of different things that you can express with a sex scene. You know, you can define a whole culture by it, or you can show intimacy by it.
Yeah. I agree with that. I haven't watched True Blood or Game of Thrones, so can't help there. But I know, let's see. Vampire Diaries was interesting. The Elena and Damon sex scene when it first happened, it was like, oh my god, yes, they're finally together. This is great. And then it was, oh, okay, it was all because of a sire bond, and like it brought this whole new offshoot to their relationship and to the plot, and like it deepened the lore of the story and everything.
Right.
That was interesting. It also helped with character development as well, because we saw that Damon was like, he wasn't content just having Elena. He wanted it to be her choice, which really showed a lot about how he's not really the villain, like consent is key. So he was like, no, you only want to be with me because of the sire bond. So I'm going to not have you because, and like he didn't touch her again. There was like no more sex after he figured out the sire bond was a thing. And I thought that really illustrated how much he valued consent and valued Elena as a person, and wanted her to have her own free will and be able to choose him that way. That was incredible. So sometimes even the lack of sex can
Yes.
really tell you a lot about a character and develop them.
Right. Yes. See, sex can be used to illustrate manipulation. It can be used to demonstrate power, control. It can be used to indicate intent, manipulation, just so many aspects. I mean, it can be shown that some people are like carefree, like you can have like a one night stand. Is that relevant? Because yes, it can show the personality of the person and where they're at in their own mental state at a time, so it can be. Yep.
It really also comes down to like the type of sex that is being had as well, because like you were talking about, like the one night stands and stuff like that, it triggered that in my head. The way that they make love or the way they fuck, like that tells you about the types of person. It also tells you about their chemistry. It tells you about whether or not they'd actually be compatible. It lets you know what type of person they are, because that is, in a lot of cases, for some people, it is a very intimate experience where like you're all laid bare and all that good shit. So in that moment, like you can learn a lot about the two characters and how they see each other and how they see themselves. Yeah, I love that.
Right. Well, and here's the other thing and all that. Without even actually writing the sex scene, the insinuation of it, like you got two people that are getting hot and heavy, they end up in the bedroom, and then where's the relevancy of it? Well, the relevancy could be that you fade to black and you come back and one of them is getting up, collecting their stuff and walking out. That can illustrate, a mentality. Or you can show them lying there in the bed, having a conversation and, how they feel about things, or in nervousness, or an insecurity. There's so many things that you can demonstrate without actually having the sex scene, just insinuating that's where it went, fade to black. Here we are right afterwards.
That's a great use of fade to black. I like that idea. I don't think I've ever used that before, but that would be a really interesting plot twist. Fade to black, and then it comes back, and it's like, oh, those two characters you really wanted to get together? Well, they're suddenly like not wanting to talk to each other and not making eye contact, and then you can slowly reveal that later on about like what actually happened during that fade to black period that was there. And it's kind of like something that would keep the readers turning the page, like, what happened? Like, you guys were perfect together. What happened? What did you say?
Yeah.
Their own theories and shit. Like, I bet he did this. I bet it was his fault. I bet it was her fault. She probably did it.
Right. And then you can have a scene. You can have a scene later on and all that where one of her girlfriends is saying, "So what was it? Why didn't it work out?" And she goes, Nothing more has to be said.
Wow. She gonna like body shame him? That's rude.
I'm just saying.
Like her
with-
anymore. I'm already
without-
making opinions. I'm like, fuck this imaginary bitch that we haven't even created.
But this is what I'm saying. Without even describing anything, you can throw insinuations up that tell the story. You know, she brings her hand up and she has a slight gap between her thumb and her forefinger, insinuating a small penis. You know, I mean, just there you go. You know, so many things that you can go without ever describing the actual act.
That's true. I think that what's most important is remembering that outside of the erotica and romance genre, that your sex scenes are moving the story forward. They're in there for an actual reason, either for character development, to progress the character arc, or to progress the plot of the story. I think that's
Right.
the takeaway of this.
Yes, yes. If you're just putting it in there for a, you know, a just because, it's don't write it. I'm sorry, just don't put it in there.
Unless it's porn. If it's like, you know, smut and you're just writing smut and the plot don't really matter all that much, I think you have a little bit more leeway with erotica.
Yeah.
Like some of the sex scenes don't have to be in there to progress the story. Some of the sex scenes can just be sex scenes. but I think chiefly for erotica, I think the definition of that would be that the sex scenes move the plot forward.
Right. That's erotica. So if you're writing erotica, then yes, go for it. But if you're not, you're just writing a story and you're going to put a sex scene in there. Just remember, it has to have a purpose. If it doesn't have a purpose, don't put it in there.
Yes. All right. Well, you want to talk a little bit about like the next people that you have on your show, some of your books, stuff like that. Plug your shit.
Yeah, we can do that. Tomorrow on The Flow with Shadow Fox, we have Plametti coming on there. He's going to talk about the hero's journey. It's a segment that he's done before. It's quite the experience. I encourage everyone to come in and check out Plametti. On Friday on the Vellum, we have Torch the Poet. He's going to be there, audio only, but he's going to be there, and that'll be on the Vellum with TPA Wolfric. And then Saturday, we have Sarah Donahue as a guest on Comedy and Controversy. And we're going to be talking about critical race theory. A lot of controversy in what it is. We are going to explain to people what it is, where you can get it, and how you can learn about it and know what's really going on, because quite frankly, it's no longer critical race theory, it's critical race fact. And then, of course, Sunday we have Stoicism, Becoming Stoic with Elizabeth Masters, and we are going to continue on Rene Descartes meditations. We're going to finish up the first meditation and delve into the second meditation. And I have a tentative schedule for March 20th. I'm going to have Matt Myers, the Secretary General of the International Peace and Research Association, on my an exclusive interview. And I got a couple other feelers out for a couple other names that I might be having some pretty big people coming on here pretty soon. So, woo, yes. But until I get more confirmation back, I'm not going to say anything. I got to wait. I got to wait. I tell you, trying to get some people is really, really difficult because, first of all, usually you're not dealing with the person that you're trying to get. You're dealing with their staff. And sometimes that can be difficult to get through. Well, you're like slow motion. You're lagging.
Especially when they're. How about now?
A little bit. Yeah, you're still lagging.
Fuck everything. How about that? How about now?
Yeah, that's okay.
I hate everything. Life sucks.
Still, I would take a 1 hour show with you breaking up and lag and all that than not having you at all. So
I appreciate that. I wish this shit would fucking work. I don't know what the problem is. It's that East Palestine stuff. I'm in Ohio, so it's probably like the chemtrails.
I got asked, God dang it, who is it that asked? Hold on a second. Let me go to banners. I didn't even put the banners up today. Boom.
On Twitter, bitches.
All right.
Yeah.
Chapters and Pages Book Nook, 203A Broadway Street, Jackson, Ohio. 45640. Grand opening on April 1st, featuring Daigle. I got asked, what city were you in?
Jackson, Ohio.
I forget what even the reason was. I don't know if somebody's coming there or what, but I think you might be getting another visitor.
That makes me excited. I'm for it. I think that April is pretty much booked every Saturday for the author spotlights. So we're in good shape there. Things are coming along. There's lots of local authors in our area that want to come in and read from their books. Daigle is the furthest one away. He's coming all the way down from fucking Cleveland to read from Bingo. And if you guys haven't heard Daigle read from Bingo before, you definitely want to hear him this time. If you can't make it in person, we will be doing the author spotlight here on Paul's show. There's going to be a brand new show called Saturday Spotlight. What time did you say you wanted to do that? 5 p.m. my time?
Hold on. It's on Saturdays. 1 o'clock my time is 4 o'clock your time.
4 p.m. I know math.
So over at 2, so 5. I think it's 6 o'clock your time that we do it.
6 o'clock?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I guess it's going to be 6 p.m. Saturday on Saturdays for the Saturday Spotlight for.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. It would either have to be at 6 or it would have to be at noon.
Okay. 6 would probably work because everybody's free up after, in the evening. So that's when I want to do that. That works. Because I actually have authors asking me about like the specific time. I'm like, I haven't really nailed it down yet because I'm trying to live stream on Paul's show because I told them all about you, of course. So
Yes.
If you can't make it in person to Chapters and Pages Book Nook in Jackson, Ohio, we will be doing a live stream on Saturdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time called Saturday Spotlight right here on In the Moment. So be sure to check that out. We have Daigle. Then I have someone named Michelle Lee Miller, who is a local author who will be there on the 8th. Cornelia is coming down probably the next Saturday, but we haven't nailed that down just yet. I will be texting her after the show and nailing out hammering out the details. And then I have a 4th author, if they reach out to me, that is like Gallipolis area, I think is where she's from. No, Lancaster area. So a little closer to Columbus. She'll be coming down at the end of the month if I can get into contact with her. So all of April is pretty much booked. If anybody else wants to come and read at the Book Nook, I do sell the tickets for $10 per ticket for people to come in and listen to them. And I will be splitting that money with the authors. So I will take $5 for the Book Nook, and then you will take the other $5 from every single ticket. So we go 50-50 on that. You will keep all of the profits from your book sales. So if you sell a book there for $20, that $20 is yours. Keep it. So that's basically it for the Book Nook.
Nice.
Oh, and I forgot to tell you, I have a contract with Castle Carrington Publishing. Yes, I do. I need to print it out and sign it. I'm going to do that today before I leave. But yeah, I am now a traditionally published author. Gummy, yay!
Yes. Woohoo! Woo woo!
Yeah, so I'm super excited. And she's interested in the next 2 books too. So Insomnia will be under Castle Carrington. Lucid's going to be re-released through Castle Carrington with a brand new cover. So keep your eyes on my Twitter page because that's where I'm going to fucking put it. It's not going to be like I'll probably put it on Instagram too, but you guys all know that Twitter is where I live usually. So
Okay.
make sure
when you get that new cover, send it to me so I can update our show
Yes.
promo.
Yes, I'm actually. I know that the owner of the publishing house is going to do a cover and see if I like that one. If not, I'm going to commission art from an artist. So if there's anybody here who is good at creating characters on a cover, please feel free to message me on. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm talking about like artist, like drawing. That's what I'm talking about. But if anybody has any is open for commission or something like that and wants to send me some stuff from their portfolio, just DM me on Twitter at @by_LR Evans. That's BY_LR Evans. It's down there at the ticker. I am looking for someone that can create a brand new cover for me.
What's really weird is that when you would bring your hand up, even though I couldn't see it on here, I could see it on the window behind you. And at first I thought somebody was reaching up to grab you. I was like, what the? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I got it.
Oh, no, yeah, I'm about to get.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Sorry we got off to a rough start, but hey, it's always a good show regardless. So
bad. This is such a good topic too. I think we covered everything though.
yes,
I've just been go. Thank God things are starting to catch up. Spring market is kicking up for real estate. I've got so many leads that I did not call today. Shit. That's all right. I'll call them tomorrow. And I got a couple of clients that I'm working with. So yay money.
all right.
To pay for cover art. Call me.
All right.
No, I was telling them, not you.
Oh.
I was telling them to call me.
All right, everyone. Thank you. And remember, be kind, be happy, and may good things come your way. Thank you.